Hare Krishna. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Nitai Gaur Haribo Gaur Haribo Srila Prabhupada ki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Ten 11:58 Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, chapter 11, text 58. Iti nandadayo gopa Krishna Rama katham muda kurvanto ramamanascha navindan bhavavedanam. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. In this way, all the cowherd men, headed by Nanda Maharaj, enjoyed topics about the pastimes of Krishna and Balram with great transcendental pleasure. and they could not even perceive material tribulations. Purport: here is an instruction about the result of studying or discussing the Krishna Lila that appears in Srimad Bhagavatam. Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda in Vrindavan appeared like ordinary persons of this material world, but they never felt the tribulations of this world, although they sometimes met many dangerous situations created by the demons. This is practical example. If we follow in the footsteps of Nanda Maharaj and the Gopas, we can all be happy simply by discussing the activities of Krishna. Vyasadeva has given this literature so that everyone may understand one's transcendental position simply by discussing Bhagavad Katha. Even at the present moment, everyone, everywhere, can be happy and free from material tribulations by following Srimad Bhagavatam. There is no need of austerities and penances, which in this age are very difficult to perform, such as fasting today. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has therefore declared, Sarvatmam Snapanam Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. By our Krishna consciousness moment, we are trying to distribute Srimad Bhagavatam so that anyone in any part of the world can be absorbed in the Krishna conscious moment by chanting and hearing about the activities of Krishna and can be freed from all material tribulations. Om Agyantimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Zagrajatan Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhan Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranavami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Nama. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we welcome everybody to Shri Bhagavad Katha on this very auspicious occasion of Shri Krishna Janmashtami. Shri Krishna Janmashtami Mahamahotsava ki Jai. So, where is Rupanuga Prabhu? Is he here? Our dear Rupanuga Prabhu set the tone and mood very nicely this morning for those of us who heard. Said simply by remembering and chanting and discussing about the pastimes of Sri Krishna in the mood of Brajavasis, Who are Brajavasis? Vasis, the residents of the holy land of Vraj, of Vrindavan. So that is the place where Krishna belonged to. So simply by hearing and discussing Krishna Katha, one really gets purified. And that will be the theme of our Srimad Bhagavatam class today. We'll be discussing about a lot of pastimes. He mentioned a few, we'll try to cover a lot. Volumes are written on Srimad Bhagavatam. I'm not sure how much justice can we do in an hour, but we'll try to discuss as many as we can. So once there was an major in the army in European region who was very interested in knowing the Eastern philosophy. And some of his soldiers and his teammates, they happened to be ISKCON followers. So he knew that, yeah, there are these boys in my team who know what Bhagavad Gita is. So he inquired upon them, and naturally they got scared when they were called upon. But very timidly they went and they said, yes, sir, you called for us. He said, yeah, I'm hearing about this philosophy and some book that you are following. And the devotees were shaken. They are like, are we going to lose our jobs? But so it happens that the major actually was very inquisitive. So he took the book, and as soon as the opportunity was available, you know how our Sankirtan devotees are. They spotted the opening and they said, okay, here is the book. And Major said, okay, thank you. He said, where's the donation? So Major said, come on, you got to be kidding me. How can you ask for donation? I'm such a big major. I'm taking your book. He said, no, if you desire, so please give. So he respected that. He respected. That was the beginning of his Krishna consciousness. So he gave some donation. And then you know how it happens, right? Our devotees, time to time, they did follow up. So the soldiers kept weekly follow-ups with the Major. Major, what about the book? Did you start with that book? So Major said, no, I'll do it. So long story short, 6 months go by. And then, the Major was tired of follow-ups. So he finally decides that, okay, let me just open the book, what it is. So he opened Bhagavad Gita and just started reading. It was a little bit too much for him. So he just scanned through the translations. He said, I should at least be honest. When next time followed up, I can say yes. So he read through all the translations. So he was, again followed up. And he said, yes, this time I'm done. I've read through. And devotees were like shocked. They are like, for 6 months you have not, and now in 1 week without taking a day off you have finished. How is that possible? So he said, I've just read the translations. So he said, okay. And then they insisted that, you know what, Srila Prabhupada's purport. His purports are very special. You can give it a try. So he goes back and, goes ahead with his regular daily duties. And one night, he got a dream. And he got Srila Prabhupada in his dream. And he said, you know what? Feel free to read my purports also. There is no problem. You are allowed to read. So he wakes up and then, starts to read. And eventually he becomes a devotee and a practitioner of Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki? So Srila Prabhupada mentions that his purports are his spiritual ecstasies. And hence it is very essential that we sadhakas, we followers of Srila Prabhupada, we give that attention and respect to the purport. So in today's purport we speak about, we read through that Srila Prabhupada speaks about this kurvanto ramamanascha. So, and also this chapter is very important. Why? Because Srila Prabhupada personally went ahead to translate up till the 13th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam in 10th canto. And today we are reading from the 11th. So Srila Prabhupada, you could see the very manifestation of this mood that Rupanuga Prabhu was explaining in the morning, earlier this morning, manifesting through the purports of Srila Prabhupada. And hence we want to be very attentive when we try to read and discuss about Sri Krishna's pastimes through Srila Prabhupada's purports. So today's Janmashtami, question may arise, why celebrate Krishna's birthday? What is so special about it? Why not celebrate my birthday? Why not celebrate somebody else's birthday? There are many people who are born in the month of August. Anybody here? Anybody? Okay. So already the funnel is narrowing down. Many may say, why? I am also born in August. I am also born in India, By the way, I was also born at midnight. People may argue. But as the questions are posed, the funnel gets narrowed. How many were born in prison? Not many. So anyway, is Krishna really different? Yes, he is different. Srila Prabhupada explains in Bhagavad Gita 4.9, one of the most widely quoted verses, I think one of the top 3 widely quoted verses of Srila Prabhupada. He says, Janma karma chame divyam evam yoveti tatvata tyaktva dehan punarjanma naiti mame tiso arjuna. Mark the word divyam. It's divyam. It's different. It's no ordinary person. How is it different? He is very different because he chooses his parents. Anybody in this room can dare to say that? Not possible. Well, not really, Mukunda. So, he chooses his parents. He chooses his place of birth. He decides that, okay, I'm going to come here. Guess what? He had named since eternity. Some of us in the Western world have opportunity to give names, right? Maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe 9 months at max. Or maybe if you meditate on having a child, then few years. But this personality has his name. Now many may say, I have a name Govinda, I have a name Shyam, I have a name Keshav. But this is the original personality. Why? Because he descends. He comes down. He doesn't have to. He's not obliged to leave his spiritual world and his pastimes. But he comes here for our sake. And that is the magnanimity. That is the mood. Look, on this day, many places, particularly in India, people do Govinda, Matki, things like that. They want to imitate. They want to be Gopas and try to become Krishna, at least for that day. And here is Krishna, the Purna Purushottam Krishna Bhagavan himself, who is wanting to come down in the form of ordinary human being. So imagine the contrast here. And look at the magnanimity. And he also extends himself, all of us know, as a Paramatma form. So it is one thing to be Krishna conscious, but it is more important to know what is Krishna's consciousness. Once we know that, it's very easy to become Krishna conscious. What is Krishna's conscious? He wants to extend himself. He wants to make himself available for the benefit of humanity and each other. The least we can do is look around, look at your neighbors who you are sitting with, and try to extend yourself and make yourself available at least for today. That is what Krishna is trying to teach us. So, we know that out of this kindness, it is very beautifully explained by one devotee, that Krishna, everybody look at that 12 o'clock my direction, plank number 13 there. You see Bhishma Dev laying on the bed of arrows. So this devotee very nicely explains. He says, when you are laying down and trying to remember, Krishna comes and sits in front of you. Like in that example. Next to Bhishma Dev, Krishna is seated. When you are sitting and trying to remember Krishna, like most of us were chanting earlier this morning. When you are sitting and trying to remember Krishna, like how Dhruva Maharaj did. Krishna popped out of his heart and stood in front of him, showed him the form of Narayan. And then it is said, if you are standing and talking about Krishna, like Prahlad Maharaj and Hiranyakashipu were having friendly argument, saying, does the Lord exist? He said, yeah, he exists everywhere. When you are standing and remembering him, what does he do? He jumps and dances in front of you as Narsinghadev. And then when you are dancing in Kirtan, we had beautiful Guru Puja here. When we were dancing in Kirtan, what does Krishna do? Krishna comes and joins in that Kirtan. As explained in Chaitanya Lila of Chaitanya Chaitamrita of Mahaprabhu, it is explained there is a beautiful place called Ambika Kalana. It is in Navadvip, Mayapur. And it's a place of Gauridas Pandit. And he has this most beautiful form, very close to our Gaurnita here. Very, very close looking in their form. And we'll discuss about the form of Krishna shortly. So, the pastime goes that whenever Gaurnitai, who are non-different than Krishna Balram, when they would see their devotees dance in Sankirtan, they would jump off the altar and start dancing with them. And then devotees would put them, and then they would jump back again, and again, and again. So, all we have to do is put a little bit of endeavor. And we'll discuss about a structured way of putting endeavor today. And when you do that, Krishna comes and makes himself available. So that is Krishna's consciousness. He's always wanting to make himself available to serve us lowly living entities. So Krishna's appearance, as explained in Bhagavatam, is a collaboration between many devotees. The pastime starts with the austerities performed by Sutapa and Prishni, and then the Bhumi Devi's, request to Brahmaji, and then Brahmaji along with Shivji and all the other demigods go to Narayan and ask for help, and then eventually Narad Muni gets involved, and the whole pastime as explained in Bhagavatam. So it's a collaboration between many devotees to have Krishna come here. Just like how today's grand festival is collaboration between many devotees. You have a beautiful deity outfits, deity darshans done by our pujari team. And we're going to give justice in about few minutes by taking specific darshan of Krishna so that we can appreciate the hard work done by the pujaris there. The management team, the event organizers, and everybody, so many devotees have come together, collaborated to pull this festival off. Exactly in the similar fashion, Krishna's advent is explained. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that why these pastimes are so melodious and so enchanting, and why they are important. So Chakravarti explains very nicely. He says, Kavyam kaveta kavyataya prasiddham kavyasya kavyam chayato hi kavyam. He says there are many forms of poetry available in this world. There are many varieties, many flavors, lot of poetic compositions are available. Which is the highest among them? Which is the most beautiful? Which is the most pleasing to Krishna? He goes ahead and says, Tadeva kavyam mamatsu kavyam vrajaika kavyam paramatsu kavyam. The pastimes of Krishna performed in the Vrajbhumi Vrindavan are the highest, and that is the reason we should be discussing that in Bhagavatam. Also in Chaitanya Chaitamrita it is explained, Krishna Tattva Bhakti Tattva Prema Tattva Sar Bhava Tattva Rasa Tattva Lila Tattva Ar. Now one may say, oh my God, there are too many tattvas here. Too many. Krishna Bhakti Prema Bhava Rasa Lila. And somebody may say, but I did not hear about Prasad Tattva. Particularly today. Now, why are there these different tattvas? These are just like different flavors of medicines. A lot of doctors I see in the room here. Why do you have these different flavors of medicine? Why can't we have just one medicine work for everything? No, you need these depending upon the disease that we may have. And that is the reason we have foundational disease in form of Shadripus. There are 6 main anarthas that we have. And to kill those demoniac mentality, Krishna descends. And the theme of our talk today begins from there. That Shukdev Goswami in 9th canto, 24th chapter, 61st verse, explains the real reason of Krishna's descent. He says, Kalo janishyamananam dukkha shokatamonudam anugrahaya bhaktanam supunyam vyatanodyasha. He says, he predicts that at the end of Dwapar Yuga, this Krishna in his original form is going to descend and perform his pastimes to uplift the consciousness of the common men. He says, Kalo, that means the age of Kali Yuga. Janishyamananam, all the men, all the ordinary living entities born in this age of Kali. Dukkha shoka tamonudam. There is one common theme. We all, for a second, if we shut our eyes and think about it, we try our best to make ourselves happy, and we try our best to make sure that we don't get sad. And that's how we live most of our times. But he says and predicts very nicely. He doesn't go in the details that, okay, in this era, there'll be Apple, there'll be Google, and this and that. He doesn't go in that details. Those are details. But he gives an overarching theme. Dukkha, shoka, tamonudam. Dukkha, there'll be misery. Shoka, there'll be lamentation. Always you feel, wish I could have done this. Oh, I'm 45 already. Wish I had taken to Krishna consciousness sooner. Oh, I'm sick. Wish I could have chanted better when I was able to chant. So this, in the background, everybody understands background music, right? So no matter what activities we do, no matter what we do, in the background there will be this background music of dukkha shoka tamonudam. And he says, what is the way out? Anugrahaya bhaktanam. Anugrahaya, the mercy, the causeless mercy. And very important learning that we will talk about, the practical application. How do you attract that mercy? It's important, right? It's good to know, yeah, causeless mercy exists. But hey, how do I make myself eligible for that? So we'll discuss that. So Anugrahaya Bhaktanam, very important. Krishna gives that causeless mercy. And there's a beautiful story of Dhanvir Swami, Srila Prabhupada's disciple. He was in Israel once, and suddenly some war situation sprung up. Very interesting, we are talking about that. It's also the reality today. So there was some war situation, and everybody, whoever was available on the land, no matter whose citizenship you have, you are, sort of pushed forward to fight. And then he got worried. He's like, I'm a simple devotee. What am I going to do in the war? So he consulted his lawyer, who said, no, there is a religious exemption available. So you apply for that. So he applied and he got it. And then he said, I need 6 hours of time every day to do my puja. So again, those of us who made it to the Mangala Aarti, 4:30 in the morning, do 6, will be somewhere in that ballpark. And that is what he wanted to do every single day. So anyway, reluctantly he was given permission, but then, everybody was watching him closely. And he did his all things in the morning. And everybody is watching. He's like, he has some smoky sticks that he's, making circles, and there are some people standing who are not speaking, but he's still doing. And then he suddenly starts to dance, and then he does some meditation. But he's sincere. So everybody complains, but then, his boss is convinced that, oh my God, he's very sincere devotee. So then one fine day, his boss's boss comes in and says, okay, get ready for the war, be ready to shoot. If somebody shoots at you, what will you do? And he said, you, Dhanvir Swami, he said, get up. What will you do if you are shot at? He'll say, I will chant Hare Krishna. So he said, okay, that is fine, you will die, but will you not fight for us? How will you kill? Show me how will you kill. Do you know how to use the rifle? So he poses a question. He says, kill whom? He says, your enemies. He says, the enemy has a body and a soul. Who are you talking about? The body is already shashvat. It's dead, as good as dead. And the soul is eternal. You can't kill it. So who are you talking about? Who should I kill? The body or the soul? And the boss's boss became very perplexed. She said, okay, we'll meet again later. He didn't have answer. And then he secretly went to Swamiji. And he said, can you tell me what the real answer is? And then he explains the philosophy of Gita and Bhagavad. And eventually that person also takes up to Prabhupada's books and becomes a devotee. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So the point is that Krishna, Anugrahaya Bhaktanam, that is his interest. Once again, I'll quote Rupanuga Prabhu as he was explaining in the morning, that his key interest is not to establish godhood. He's not an autocrat form of God. He doesn't say, I'm the boss, you all are the followers. It's not his interest. But what he does is loving pastimes. Anugrahaya Bhaktanam. He is ready to give his mercy. Like the way he gives his darshan, like the way he gives, his prasadam and so on. So, after explaining 4 more verses down, 65, after explaining the real reason, Shukdev Goswami goes ahead and explains the form of Krishna. So for one quick second, everybody will turn to Radha Krishna, Radha Kishore Gopinath, if you are able to see him. And he says, Yasyananam makarakundala charukarna brajat kapola subhagam suvilasahasam nityodsavam natitripur drishibhi pibantyo naryo narascha mudita kupita nimescha. Shukdev Goswami explains in one beautiful verse about the form of Krishna. So as we see Krishna, he says, Yasyananam, that beautiful face of Lord Krishna. He makes himself available. How? He has Makarakundala Charukarna. The Makarakundala, like the shark, like fish-like earrings, which are doing nice dance on his beautiful ears. And he has brilliant cheeks. And he has a broad forehead. And he goes ahead and explains the whole thing. And he says, how do Brajvasis see this? Nityotsava. It is eternal festival just to look at this form of Krishna. And we want to take this opportunity and thank the Pujari team here who are facilitating Krishna in his service to humanity by making himself look so beautiful that we can appreciate the verses of Srimad Bhagavatam. So let us, I see some pujaris walking in, so we want to express our gratitude by loudly chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. But even in this verse, the last piece, Kupita Nimescha, the gopis of Vrindavan have issue with this. They are angry. They are like, Krishna, you look so beautiful. But Kupita Nimescha, Nimesha, these eyelids, why are they even made? Because when I blink, I lose the opportunity to see Krishna. That is a mode that is explained. And then from here on, we will discuss about certain pastimes of Krishna. So, right after birth, Krishna was brought to Gokul. And in Gokul, now the verses will come in a few minutes. So in Gokul, somehow or other, everything was peaceful until Krishna arrived. And as soon as Krishna arrived, came a lot of demons to kill him. And the first one was? Who was the first one? Putana. Putana. Somehow we have such beautiful paintings on this in this temple hall. Number 4 behind me, by the left here. Very, very beautiful. So this lady, beautifully dressed, enchanting beauty. She walks into Gokul and everybody's stunned. Bhagavatam explains, everybody's stunned to look at her beauty. And nobody resists. Nobody can even think in their remotest dreams that she could be a demon. And as soon as she comes, then, Yashoda Maya and all the gopis said, oh, come, bless my dear Krishna. And she wanted to offer her milk to Krishna. And then she offers. And what happens? Krishna, of course, knows everything. So he not only accepts the milk, but also sucks out her prana. And she becomes big, demoniac lady form. And then she crashes down. And Krishna Bhagavan is still on top of her. This Krishna Bhagavan does when he was, how old was he? Was mere 1 month old. Sri Krishna Bhagavan ki jai. So Acharyas explain here that as soon as Putana took Krishna, Krishna shuts his eyes. And different explanations are given by Acharyas here. That why does Krishna shut his eye? So the first reason is that Krishna did not want to see the face of the sinner. But then the deeper reason is explained that for a moment Krishna shut his eye and he went back to open all the records of Putana, looking at all the past lives that, hey, this lady has come with bad intention, bad action. Has she done anything good in her life? If she has, then I'll be able to give her mercy. Now, as you see in this material world, sometimes you run into people with bad intentions, but their actions are good. They are haribol on the face, but behind the scene they have issues. Or sometimes their actions are rude, but they don't have too much ill intentions. It's very hard to find that balance. Here is a lady who had problems in the basics. She had issues in both the sides of the world. Still Krishna is kind enough to see if she is able to forgive. And comes one of the most beautiful verses of Srimad Bhagavatam. And most famous, 3:2-23 please. Shukdev Goswami, and this verse when Shukdev Goswami explains to Parikshit Maharaj, he goes in ecstasy. Bhagavatam explains very few places where openly Shukdev Goswami goes in ecstasy. He says, Aho Bakiyam Stanakalakutam Jigam Sayaya Yapadatya Sadvi Lebhe Gatim Dhatrayuchitam Tatunyam Kamva Dayalum Sharanam Brajema Do you want to offer this prayer together? The last line? That's the theme of today. If you all want to take one theme back from today's festival, sing together. Kam va dayalum sharanam brajema. Kam va dayalum sharanam brajema. Last time. Kam va dayalum sharanam brajema. So Shukdev Goswami is in ecstasy talking about this verse. That how come this most beautiful Krishna at the same time is so magnanimous, that he is ready to give so much mercy to this lady. It says, Aho Bakiyam, alas, that lady demon, the she demon, Putana has come. And what has she done? Stana Kalakutam. She has put Kalakutam, the worst form of poison, on her body to offer to Krishna. And what does Krishna say? And also it explains, Jigam Saya. She's very envious. Asadvi, she's very unfaithful. We spoke about this, right? Bad intention, bad action, everything bad, 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 bad. But what does he do? Lebe gatim dhatri uchitam. Uchitam, as good as dhatri, mother. He gives her gati. He gives her destination as good as his mother. Kamva dayalum, where else can I find somebody who is more merciful than this person? And hence I want to vrajam sharanam. I want to be surrendered to him. As Prabhuji was explaining in the morning, right? Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. How do we do mam ekam sharanam vraja? And why should we do? We should do because of this great personality, Krishna himself. Kamva dayalum sharanam vrajema. And how do we do this? Okay, let's talk practical. Poetic is very nice, but what about practical? How do we put that effort? So Krishna explains, right? Damodar Lila. 2 fingers too short. First finger represents our endeavor, our efforts. Second finger represents Krishna's mercy. So if you do mathematical formation, it is very simple. It is 80-20 rule. Okay, 20-20-20-20, 5 buckets. So the first is our, we need facilities, right? We need resources. We need japa mala to chant. We need temples so that we can have darshan of Krishna. So first is the resources that are available. The second is the kshetra, the place of action. So we need our homes, we need our temples, we need Sankirtan moments on the streets, we need a place to execute our devotional service. Then third is we need to have our intention. You may know how to drive car, but if you don't intend to drive, the car is going to sit there. Prabhupada gives example of planes. Beautiful planes, they can sit there unless there is a soul having desire to fly that. And then the actual endeavor. So these 4 when you do, that covers the first finger of Damodar Lila. That consists of your endeavor. And then the second part is Krishna's mercy. So one Brajvasi nicely explains that the math is very weird. Even though it's 80-20, it's actually 99 and 1. 99% is your effort. You have to put that effort and then qualify yourself that hopefully it'll be 1%. But the result, the consequence of that is actually reversed. That just by accepting, Krishna accepts your simple 1% effort and gives you 99% mercy. And that is what devotees desire for. So each of these demons, they represent certain forms of anarthas. And Bhagavatam helps us understand what those are and how do we deal with it. So Putana represents the anartha of a deceitful guru. And by that it means that somebody who wants to mislead you. And there are many such forms that many of us may run into in this world. But what do we have to do? We have to consult with a living bona fide representative of Srila Prabhupada to make sure that we are on the right path. So there was one person who suddenly challenged the speaker, saying, why do you chant Hare Krishna all the time? Where in Bhagavad Gita Krishna says chant 16 rounds? Or do you hear anywhere in Bhagavad Gita or in Bhagavatam that Krishna is following up with Arjun on the battlefield? That, oh, hold on, Krishna. Arjun, did you finish your job today? And Arjun is like, okay. Or at times Arjun says, Krishna, enough of war. Can you take me behind that banyan tree? I have to finish 4 rounds. You don't hear such things. Huh? So, he said, why do you chant? And then the speaker said, it is explained, Satatam kirtayanto mam. That you are supposed to chant all the times. But Prabhupada is kind enough, he knows that you can't cope up with that. A lot of us are struggling to even sit for 2 hours with broken backs and many other problems people may have. Citing my personal case. So Srila Prabhupada made it very simple. He said, at least 2 hours a day, just do that much. So he said, what do you think about it? Can you do Satatam Kirtan Tomam, or would you like to try 2 hours? So the person who was wrongly challenging, he said, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So you will run into deceitful guru situation. Guru meaning not just the saffron robe and things like that. Any ordinary person as well. But you have to consult the bona fide person. Putana also represents mental voices that are non-conducive. Some voices that come from inside sometimes, which are not conducive. Positive ones are good. That you should follow. But negative ones particularly you should keep a close eye on. And how do you take care of it? You simply have to follow the process. Simply have to follow the process. So once Srila Prabhupada was asked, Srila Prabhupada, have you seen Krishna? Now, this question is asked to Srila Prabhupada many times. And different occasions, depending upon Srila Prabhupada's mercy mood, he has given different answers. On one time, this is one of my favorites, Srila Prabhupada said, how does it matter whether I have seen or not? But you know what? I have process. I have a process that I can give you so that you can experience what I have experienced. So Srila Prabhupada said, just follow this process and you will be able to see Krishna. And that is listening, following the process to avoid such negative voices that may come from the heart. Again, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada gave us this process because of which we are able to do this literally we are able to do Satatam Kirtayanto Mam in some or the other form just because of this. So, story continues ahead and Krishna grows and couple months pass by. So now how old is he? He is 3 months old. And what happens? There was a big festivity in Nanda Bhavan and Yashoda Maiya puts Krishna below the cart, knowing that, okay, he'll be safe here. And then goes about doing her things and suddenly, whoosh, loud noise. And the cart came down crashing. And everybody assembles and says, oh my God, what happened, what happened? And they see Krishna good. And then everybody starts to chant mantras and prayers that, oh Lord Vishnu, please protect my Krishna. That's the mood Nanda Baba and all the Gopas and Gopis are in. So, at that point in time, Krishna has killed another demon called Shakatasur. Shakat meaning cart. Asur is the demon. The Rakshasa. The one who wants to live at the cost of others' breath. So you want to kill somebody else so that you can live longer. That is a Rakshasa. So again, Acharyas beautifully explained that in different incarnations, Krishna does have to exert. When he came as Vamandev, what did he do? 3 steps. But to do 3 steps, he grew to a beautiful form called Trivikram. Trivikrama. 1 step, 2 step, and then Bali Maharaj and the whole pastime. Narsimhadev, when he exerted pressure to rip open that. Of course, no, from a bhava perspective, you can say it's nothing for Krishna, but from external eyes perspective, he broke open the pillar and then he fought and, we'll save that pastime for Nrsimha Chaturdashi. So, beautiful. Every time Krishna exerts. But when Krishna comes as Krishna, the original personality, he doesn't use any weapons. And Chakravarti Pad again very nicely explains in his beautiful poetry called Swayam Bhagavata Ashtakam that he uses different limbs of his body to kill different demons. First, Putna, he used his lips. This time, he just kicked the cart. So he used this, all the football fans, he just kicked the cart. Push, the cart came down crashing. And next, time permitting, we'll talk about Trinavarth. Used his hands to choke him. So he uses his different limbs. So Shakatasur represents the anartha of load carrying mentality due to old and new habits. These are bad conditionings which reduces the rate at which we can progress in Krishna consciousness. Does it resonate with at least some of us? I can speak for myself. This bad conditioning, old habits. Whenever you go down in your life, the natural tendency of a human is to take shelter of your bad habits. That is the testing time. And to take care of them, what did Srila Prabhupada say? How do we resolve that? See, whenever there is lust in the mind, it causes distraction. It is very hard to be Krishna conscious. So Srila Prabhupada said there is only one way, deity worship. You stand in front of the Lord, you don't get those bad thoughts, and then you are able to improvise yourself and do the process that we spoke about, which is again, Satatam Kirtayanto Mam. So with regards to this, the purity aspect is talked about, that yes, you need to be pure to deal with the demon of Shakatasur. So there was one devotee at a time who just couldn't give up onion and garlic, even after being preached. 2 years passed by, he started chanting, but he was still not able to give up. And our follow-up team preacher eventually got tired, and he said, you know what, you are useless, you are hopeless. You are not able to do it. You will never be able to do it. Forget about it. That night, he gave it up. What was the impetus? The impetus was that hurt. So that hurt can only be dealt with through pure intentions. And when the pure intention arises, the backlog of the old and bad habits was dealt with. So Srila Prabhupada introduced deity worship very beautifully all over the world. So once, I think somewhere in Australia or New Zealand, one of the two countries, I can't recollect properly. But one of those places, there was a new person who came to temple, day number 1. He's not a devotee, day number 1, fresh visitor, trying to figure out what is it, dancing, jumping, Hare Krishna. So he came and there was very few people in the temple. And that same day, the pujari left. He went by doing his stuff. And there was nobody to offer puja. So Srila Prabhupada said, go do Aarti. Aarti starting in 30 minutes. Prepare yourself so you can do Aarti. So he said, what is Aarti? So he said, you will learn. And then he said, but how do I offer? I don't know anything about this. So he said, just offer with love. Krishna will accept it and he will guide you. And then Prabhupada left. And the time came and this person started. So he took the incense and started going around. He was a fit body, nice, strong guy. So he kept going for 30 minutes, just doing incense. And then you times it by 5 paraphernalia, chamar seva, vyajan seva, 3 hours. He did Aarti seva nicely with love for 3 hours. Then he said, Prabhupada also said, we have to do this 6 times a day. So I'm not scholar, but if I do basic math, there's something wrong. I cannot be doing this thing for 18 hours a day. Prabhupada got to be kidding him, right? So he said, there's something wrong. Who do I ask? There is nobody to ask. There are no pujaris around. So he wrote a letter. He said, those times, it was still a different story. People would write letters. So the letter went to Srila Prabhupada. And there were 2 inquiries in that letter. He said, Srila Prabhupada, you told me to do this Aarti. Can you explain to me the procedure? And more importantly, how long should I do it? Because it's becoming a little difficult to even comprehend this. And he said, and by the way, second inquiry, there are these 3 people who are standing there to whom I'm doing. There's somebody in black, somebody in white, and somebody in yellow. Who are these? Who am I offering to? So finally, Atato Brahma Jigyasa. And then he became devotee. So Srila Prabhupada knew that it's not going to be easy. But only because of his effort to have Krishna worship made so freely available, now across the world we have hundreds of Radha Krishna deities, hundreds of Jagannath Baldev Subhadra deities, and quite a few Panchatattva deities all over the world, so that devotees can practice. And what is the purpose? Purpose is not just that, okay, you offer and then you stay here only not doing any job. That is not what Srila Prabhupada wanted us to do. Srila Prabhupada established ISKCON so that we can get attracted to Krishna when we come here, take darshan, dance in kirtan, listen to Bhagavad Katha and so on. And then you carry that mood, carry that uplifted state of consciousness back to your homes, back to your workplaces, practice and distribute that mercy to others as well. That is how Srila Prabhupada wanted us to live. And thanks to Shakatasur that all this, is made available. So then, again few months go by and there's a festival and 1 year has passed. Krishna has become 1 big year old. Cute little boy. Do we have Trinavarth here? I don't think so. I couldn't find it. Okay. So, the Bhagavatam explains beautifully what happens. 1 year go by and Krishna becomes heavy. So, Mata Yashoda puts him on the side and does her duties. And Bhagavatam explains, Muhurtam ababhad gostam rajasa tamasavritam suta yashoda pashyat tasmin yasvati sutaha rajasa tamasa vritam. Raj, one meaning of Raj is dust particles. It was storming. It started storming and these dust particles went into the eyes and Mother Yashoda couldn't see Krishna. And nobody could see. And that time the storm took baby Krishna with him with an intention that he will strangulate the baby and throw him down. That demon was Trinavarth. But what happens? Rajasa tamasavritam. Acharyas explain one more thing, that Rajasa tamasavritam also means that avritam, a layer of desire to enjoy. When we are layered with that, what happens? We can't see Krishna. Just like the other meaning of Raja, right? When the dust particles go in the eye, you can't see properly. Similarly, when you have this dust particles like desire to enjoy separate from Krishna, when that goes in the heart, you can't really see Krishna. So that is what it represents. And you can do it by simply doing pious activities and by trying to follow the process with vigilance. And the famous story of when Srila Prabhupada was in Amritsar with his disciple Guru Das Prabhu. And they were talking and Prabhupada's turn had not come and the other speakers were talking so much about Mayavad. Everything is one, everything is one, everything is same. And Prabhupada got frustrated and he said, I'm leaving. And Guru Das Prabhu said, Prabhupada, you are next on the podium. He said, no, I'm not interested. These are all, they are speaking nonsense. I'm going to go. She said, who will speak? He said, you will speak. She said, but Prabhupada, I'm just a couple years old. He said, he didn't say, remember the guy who did Aarti with one day? He said, now it doesn't matter. For the level at which they are talking, you are more than enough. So Guru Das Prabhu goes and says, what are you guys talking about all this? Everything is one, everything is one. Is the sweet rasgulla same as the stool on the street? And then everybody was shocked. And they went and complained to Prabhupada. He said, your disciple is so impudent. He's speaking anything like this. He's asking us to eat stool. And Prabhupada called Guru Das and he said, Guru Das Prabhu, and he said, did you ask that? He said, no, Prabhupada, I was just making an example out of it. So then he told the other, Prabhupada, look at the sensitivity, nicely balanced this. Srila Prabhupada says to them, don't worry, my American disciples give very graphic examples. Don't take it too closely. So he went and then he turned to Guru Das Prabhu and he said, Guru Das Prabhu, what was that example? The sweet of rasgulla different than stool on the street? Excellent example, very good job. So by doing that, he encourages him as well. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So as I think we are going to start running out of time. So what we'll do is, the pastimes are many. And different devotees assembled here will have different favorites, right? Somebody will like Damodar, somebody will like Govardhan, somebody will like Bakasur, Aghasur, Arishtasur, Keshi, Kalya, so many. Days and weeks are less to give justice. So what happens is, I'll quote some very beautiful aspects. You can go to 924, 66 and 67, one after the other. These are the two verses where 3 days have passed in the entire Bhagavad narration. And Parikshit Maharaj is still standing his foot firm. Eagerness to hear. You all know, right? He was going to die in 7 days. But along with him, there are a lot of sadhus and there are a lot of other munis who are seated. They are not getting spaced out like how we feel sleepy during Bhagavad classes. They are paying full attention. It's not that, oh, this is for Parikshit. It's okay, I can take a quick nap. I'm too hungry, let me go have a quick bite and then I'll be right back. They didn't say, Parikshit Maharaj, when Dasham Skanda starts, you call me. That's the real Leela of Krishna. They didn't do, they were seated, rapt attention. So Shukdev Goswami wanted to check this out. So he said, he told to himself that I will narrate entire Krishna Leela in just 2 verses. So since we are not able to continue with other pastimes, we'll try to follow in his footsteps. So these 2 verses, the first one, 66, I can't see if you have put it up. Okay. He says, Jato gata pitrugrhad vrajame dhitartho hatva ripun sutashatani krito rudara utpadyateshu purushu kritibhi samije atmanam atmanigam prathayan janeshu. He says, Jato gata, as soon as he was born, he lives. Pitrugrhad vrajame dhitartho. Where does he go? He goes to Vraj. Why? Why does he go to Vraj Bhumi Vrindavan? Why did he not go to New York? Why did he not go to Mumbai? He goes to Vraj to do what? To exalt Vraj. There's a beautiful word called exaltation. That means the higher stage, to bring that to the higher stage. She goes to Vraj. Hatva Ripun, to kill demons. Said he killed many demons. Sutta Shatani Krutorudara. Finished. He finished his pastimes in Vrindavan. Goes to Dwarka. Gets married to Krutorudara. Very able women. 16,108. Kept each of them very happy. Had a lot of kids from them. Purusha Kritabi Samije. Worshipped. Did lot of... This is the crux. This is for us, Grihasthas. Most men and women in this room, we are householders. We are not saffron clad. Completely dedicated people. So what do we have to do? We have to do our daily duties. By being Krishna conscious. That is what Krishna wants, because that is what he did by his own example. What did he do? Kritibhe Samije. He got married, he had kids, and he did all the yagyas, and he offered the results himself because Atmanam Atmanigam. He himself is the object of the worship. Pratyan Janeshu. What happens thereafter? The next verse. Prithvya savai guru bharam kshapayan kurunam antah samutya kalina yudhibhu pachamba drishtva vidhuya vijaye jayam udvagosya prochodhavaya chaparamam samagata swadhama. Very quickly in second verse and the end verse, last word, swadham. He's done. He went back. But what did he do? Prithvya savai guru bharam. The mother earth was overly burdened with all the demoniac kings. Kshapayan kurunam. He decided that his gurus have to be wiped off. Finished. Time has come to do what I come to do time and again. Time and again. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. Antas samutya. How did he do? He created conflict among these kings. And then yuddha. What happens in the yuddha? Drishtva vidhuya vijaye jayam. Drishtva. What is drishti? Drishti, just by aspecting, just by giving his merciful glance. That was the only weapon that he used, his glance. And what happens in the end? Udvigosya. He declares that Pandavas won and Arjuna won and establishes Yudhishthira Maharaj. Prochodhavaya. Then the last part is he does his preaching to Uddhava. So he gives Uddhav Gita and says, now Uddhav, you go to Himalaya and start preaching on my behalf and Samagata Swadhama. Apne dham chale Bhagwan. Krishna finished his pastimes and went back to Godhead at the end of 125 years. Sri Krishna Bhagwan ki jai. So, in conclusion, we would say that Krishna came and did these beautiful pastimes. What do we take out of this? From our day-to-day, literally implementations right from today. Krishna gave us 3 things very beautifully. First, he taught us how to speak without offending. Let's try to remember this collectively so we can help each other. First is how to speak without offending. Again, some people are sweet talkers, but they may not have good intentions at all the times. Some people are rough with their tongue, tongue like a razor, like a sharp sword, very sharp, but they are clean-hearted. What does Krishna do? Does both. Speaks so eloquently and without offending anybody. Gives entire Bhagavad Gita. Talks about Sankhya philosophy, talks about Karma Yoga, talks about Ashtanga Yoga, talks about Bhakti Yoga, talks about Dharma, talks about everything without offending anybody. And hence, even though we call it as a war book, Bhagavad is a love book, Gita is a war book. Even though we call it as a war book, everybody loves it. So that is what Krishna teaches. The art of speaking without offending. Then second is, Krishna teaches us art of hearing without defending. Now this is it's going to get more and more powerful. Okay, and we're going to end on 3. The list is long, but we'll go with top 3 today. How to hear without defending. If you hear good things, you get that smile that we spoke about Krishna. The smile that Krishna has, we also get it when somebody appreciates us. But when something is not as pleasant, or as remotely not as pleasant, what happens? Our third eye opens. That smile gets transferred here. And the third eye opens and does the destruction. And then you repent eventually. Slight diversion. It is said that every avatara and a guru goes through 3 notions when they leave their pastimes. What are those 3? I think I don't have it here, but they will come back to that. So, art of hearing without defending. Where did Krishna exhibit this? There's a beautiful pastime where after the whole, Pandava, Prabhuji, Shishupal, exactly, showed tremendous patience. Tremendous patience. Then finally time came, he had to be dealt with. Otherwise the world will, look, perhaps Mahatma Gandhi also was inspired from him only, but up to some extent. So another pastime is when Krishna goes to the forest to meet Pandavas after they were exiled, he meets Draupadi. And what does happen? Draupadi doesn't remember that she was offered sari by the same Krishna. But she is so traumatized and so much pained, then she starts to blaspheme and criticize, not blaspheme, I'm sorry. She starts criticizing. She's like, Krishna, where the hell were you? Now Krishna could have said, what are you talking about? Come on, I'm the one who gave you sari. Krishna doesn't do anything. Here, without defending, she pours out. She's like, Krishna, you should have protected me because of 4 reasons. I'm a woman, I'm a queen, I'm your friend, and I am your devotee. You should have protected me. Where were you? And Krishna, what does he say? Again, look at this contrast. We want to be gods, but the God wants to be a human and teach us. There is no need for him to apologize. But what did he say? He says only one word. He says, sorry. He says, I'm really sorry. And this is not our regular routine sorry. That carries 0 impact most times. You say sorry to shut the argument. They're like, okay, you win, I'm sorry. And then forget about it. No, he meant it. And he says, Draupadi, I'm so sorry. I was busy fighting in other side. Only if I had known about this, I would have personally come and killed all the Kauravas. And he said, be rest assured. Even if the great Himalayas become powdered, even if the sun and the moon stop doing their duties, even if the oceans dry out, I promise you, Draupadi, today, that those Kauravas and their wives are going to shed tears because of the adharma that their husbands caused to you. And Draupadi starts to cry. She completely melts. And that is the toyam that is referred by Prabhupada. When he says, what is the verse? Patram pushpam phalam toyam. Now it is good to offer whatever best we have. Devotees feel, oh, I brought best of Ganga water from Gangotri, from Gaumukh for my Krishna. Fantastic. But you have to have devotion, okay? Not just the adventurous part. You should have devotion in it. And that is the devotion that is exhibited by Draupadi. So what did Krishna do then? Of course, pastime continues, but here is a teaching that how do we hear without defending. And the last that we'll end with today is, how do we love without expecting? How do we love without expecting? Everybody, every devotee of Krishna, the whole Bhagavad, this is just one book. If you do not have Bhagavatam, contact our Sankirtan team and secure all the 18 volumes today on the occasion of Shri Krishna Janmashtami. Across the Bhagavatam, you cannot find one example where devotees are wanting to keep Krishna. This is a topmost secret that we are talking about right now, that how to love without expecting. When you love something, you become possessive. Oh, this is my son. Oh, this is my daughter. Oh, this is my wife. Oh, this is my husband. Oh, this is the devotee whom I preach. Oh, this is my disciple. Oh, this is my guru. You become possessive and you want to hold it just for yourself. But that is exactly opposite of what Krishna's devotees do. What do they do? And that is why Mahaprabhu comes to experience and give the highest form of parkiyaras. What is parkiyaras? You have it for some time, but then you don't have it. It's like if you love ice creams, you enjoy in summers. But then it's good to not have in winter so you don't feel sick. But then during that, when you are thinking about ice cream, you are getting more excited rather than actually eating ice cream. Krishna Prem is just like that. So, love without expecting. Gopis of Vrindavan, they got Krishna for how long? Fraction of a moment, and then it disappears. Vasudev, I mean, imagine the person who is truth personified, that highest category number 1 demon like Kamsa also had faith that okay, if it is Vasudev saying, then I can trust him. I mean, imagine what reputation Vasudev had, right? As soon as Krishna was born, what does Krishna do? He makes him speak a lie. That, oh, son was not born only, it was a daughter of Nanda Maharaj. And then think about Devaki, who undergoes so much austerity. You women, Matajis in this room, anybody with a miscarriage or a broken such experiences, so painful, right? So painful. Imagine losing so many kids, 6 children, getting killed in front of you right after your birth. I mean, right after their birth. But what does she do? She sees Krishna and says, oh, Purna Purushottam, become my baby. Off he goes, leaving him behind, not to come back. And then she could have said that, oh my God, you're such a politician. You did so much propaganda. I did all the penances and did all the tapasya, and the fruits are being enjoyed by Yashoda. You didn't do anything for me. In Yashoda's case, 11, 12 years, how long Krishna remains shy of 12 years in Braj? Just when everything was becoming good, demons were wiped off. You know, you keep waiting for that stable state in my life. Life, one of my mentors says, we expect life to be like a swimming pool, luxurious swimming pool. But life is what? Like Alaknanda. Keeps flowing with his tides up and down and stuff like that. So just when everything was becoming nice, business as usual, you know, set up, patient, peaceful, Krishna leaves, leaving behind. And then everybody think about a devotee. So these devotees teach us how to love without expecting. They can't say, oh Krishna, I did so much for you, you're not doing. No. In that only love means to sacrifice. Love means to serve. And that is what Krishna teaches. And then, you know, the beauty of this, we'll end by saying that at the end, when Krishna was about to leave from this world, he closes his eyes in Bhalka Kshetra, in Dwarka. There's a place in Gujarat. Anybody been there? There's a place called Bhalka Kshetra, where Krishna is shot with an arrow and he leaves. And before that, he remembers all his mothers. And he thinks of Devaki. So Devaki comes, Yashoda comes, and comes number 4 here. Putana also comes. Putana also comes, and that is why Kamva Dayalum Sharanam Brajema. People did not chastise Krishna for doing that, rather he glorified that. Who else? So all the 3 mothers, and what does Krishna do? Again says sorry. Sorry. Look at the depth of Krishna's consciousness here. He is allowing you to give him some service opportunity, but in doing so, he apologizes, saying, sorry, I could not do it completely. He says that to Devaki, he says that to Yashoda and to Putna. And that is how Krishna amplifies and personifies ahetuki apratihata yayatmasu prasiddhati. So that is a devotional service that we want to beg for on today's holy occasion of Sri Krishna Janmashtami. We want to pray, Yasyananam, that face, that beautiful lotus-eyed Krishna who is having row of tulsi on his lotus feet today, if you can see. That beautiful Krishna, please allow us so that we can live in such a way that we get attracted towards you. Sri Krishna Bhagavan ki, Sri Krishna Janmashtami Maha Mahotsava ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari. What is next? Any questions, comments? Do we have time for that? Vishakha Devi here? Is Vishakha Devi here? Prabhu? We can take? Okay. Mataji, Prabhuji, whoever wants to go.
Let's use the prasadam time for question.
Yes, Mother. So, cultivating any good virtue comes with practice and sacrifice. There was this police officer in India that we were talking to once, and he made a nice point. He said, any virtue comes at a price. In his 35 years of service, he was transferred some 30 times, 29, 30 times. And the year before he was going to retire, a situation was created that he had to resign. But he stuck his ground. He said, I'm going to do my dharma. I'm going to do the right thing. And in the bargain, he paid the price. He lost some 20 lakh rupees and ongoing some dollars from his allowance. So he said, the virtue, any virtue comes with a price. So there are two things, Mataji. One is, one has to be first aware. One has to be aware that where am I honestly falling in the if I were to draw it as a graph, as we all used to do, right? Which quadrant am I falling in? Am I very arrogant and am I having very bad tongue? We want to be in the first quadrant. Most times we are in the fourth. So so first is to be aware. Now, unless you are aware of your unearth, and everybody is aware. Let's be honest. Everybody, the Paramatma seated in the heart, you cannot lie. You know what good you have, and more importantly, you know what your areas of improvements are. You don't need an external person to tell you. Yeah, there are external persons will facilitate sometimes by creating situations that reminds you that yeah, how good or bad you are. But what we have to do is first be aware that yeah, I think I can polish my tongue a little bit, or yeah, I think I can have more cleaned up intentions, or whatever it may be. So first is be aware. And then second is you practice, you apply that in day-to-day life. You will fumble, you will fall, you will fumble. Like it is beautifully explained by Srila Prabhupada, right? That when you chanting Hare Krishna is like what? You're trying to run to Krishna and you have a banana peel. Foot on that, you slip. You slip and you hit the floor. But what do? You use the same floor to rise up again and continue. So as you will practice, first is the awareness, second is the practice. As you practice, you will go through the hoops of experiencing the good as well as experiencing the bad. And when you do that, Bhakti does one amazing thing, okay? There is no guarantee of happiness in Bhakti. Okay, it's a very bold statement. There is no guarantee of happiness in Bhakti, but there is guarantee of satisfaction in Bhakti. When you do the right thing, you will be satisfied. So when you hit the bed, after having done your, let's say you play a day in a life from a practical perspective, You wake up, you do your dharma, right? You do your japa, you do your seva. Then artha time comes, the afternoon, right? 9 through 6. You run your businesses, you do your educations, you do your jobs, you do your artha. Then dharma, artha, kama. Kama just doesn't mean the lust part. Kama also means spending time with your family, training your children, spending time with your wife, discussing Bhagavad. Think about how can you serve together as a combined unit. And then moksha. When you do this day like this, you are going to hit the bed with tremendous comfort and satisfaction that, yeah, this is the best possible I could have done. The feeling, it's a devotee's characteristic to feel that, oh, I didn't do well. That repenting should always be there to keep you fresh in bhakti. But in summary, you first be aware, then you apply, and then of course the last part is always daiva. You wait for Krishna's mercy. Because once that last push comes, then you can go over the checkered flag. Does that make sense, Mati? Okay. Any other questions? Comments? Any reflections? Anybody would like to share anything?
Prabhu, thank you. Just a reflection. Your beautiful class reminded me of something I had heard from senior devotees, which I think connects all such nice things about Vraja, which is that, the mood of gopis is love of Krishna in separation. Like Prabhu, you mentioned about, they are separated, and Maharaj was saying that we as followers, we cannot imitate the gopis. So they are love of Krishna in separation, and we are doing service in separation. So I just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Beautiful. Such a nice point, right? Service in separation. Because love means to serve. So there actually, it leads to service in separation. What does love mean? When you love somebody, it's good to present loving articles, right? You love Krishna, okay, you bring some bhoga for Krishna. Huh? So many pious people, so many devotees, they come with different food items. In Radhashtami, we'll have festival where we'll offer so many things to Srimati Radharani and Radha Kircho Gopinath. When you love somebody, you give a rose. I love you. Huh? But what? Beyond that, what? Extension of that means that when you love, you serve. And when you serve, you sacrifice. Like the gopis of Vrindavan. You sacrifice your comfort. You sacrifice your own personal desires. You sacrifice your own sort of selfish motives for the pleasure of your beloved, which is Krishna. So beautiful point, Prabhu. Thank you for sharing. Love means to serve. Any other points or questions? One last, maybe? Venkat, bro, last? Anybody?
Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhu
Hare Krishna. Thank you for the amazing class. I'm wondering if you can give us practical tips on how to make the most of this day, because it can be difficult. Fasting, it can be difficult. It's different than an ordinary day, and we may not be prepared to make the most of it.
So you're 25% done already, nicely. Since 4 in the morning, we are going to make almost mid-morning now, right? Yeah. So, great question. And it is this laulyam that Rupa Goswami explains, right? And we are all Rupanugas, so we want to follow in that footsteps. But the fasting, it is so beautiful, right? Once you are aware, when we were talking to Mataji about that question, once you are aware, the throughput is very high. Once you are aware that you are fasting, now you ask one of these kids here, why are you fasting? If they know the reason that yes, it is a day to feast through Shravanam and Kirtan, not just Prasadam, it is a day to feast in glorification of Krishna, but at the same time it is a day to sober down a little bit. That is an internal reason why we fast, why we try to fast. Now if many have whatever health issues and this and that, then of course you do what is required to be done. But point is that if you are aware of why you are fasting, why are you fasting? Krishna is not a sadist God that he is going to get happy saying, see, he's starving today, I'm happy. He is not that kind of a God. He is a kind of a God where he is like, oh my God, my devotee is doing so much just for my pleasure, let me give him mercy. He's that kind of a God. And even in that, he's not doing business actually. It's not, oh, just because you fast, I'll give you mercy. He doesn't fast, I'll not. No, he's not like that. You fast because you want to make your consciousness sober. Take a day off from your daily routines and say, okay, oh, Krishna, Krishna's consciousness, as was the theme today. We want to understand what is Krishna's consciousness. Having understood that, you apply in your life to make yourself more Krishna conscious. As you fast, you understand that, oh, why are you fasting? Because you want to sober down. You want to try to work, do the journey inwards than just outwards. But if you are not convinced, and then if you are following just the norm, oh, I am fasting because she told me to fast, or because he told me to fast, oh, because everybody in this temple fasts, so I'll have to fast. Oh, but I'm not able to fast, so let me go in a corner, drink some water and come. What is the point? Then that is starvation. When imposed by others, it is starvation. When done through own self, it is fasting. This is just an example. So when imposed by others, it is not bhakti. It is superimposition. And see how contradicting. Krishna himself doesn't interfere. But you feel the pressure of other peers. That is not right. So today is a day where we beg for that mercy. That Krishna, how do I make this 80-20 equation work for myself? And be conscious. Krishna consciousness. See, beautiful, right? Prabhupada would have really put so much mastermind, right? Coming up with this name of ISKCON. Krishna conscious. Just be conscious. Just be conscious. There are two ways to spend Janmashtami. I'll just conclude with that. One is how what Rupanuga Prabhu explained. That Janmashtami, full day festival. Easiest way to celebrate is be with devotees. Even better, be with like-minded association. And be eager. Laulyam. Be eager to hear, be eager to serve, be eager to chant, be eager to take darshan. It's not that, oh, you saw, okay, you got bored looking at them, they are not even talking. What else? Oh, okay, good flowers, okay, nice dress. All right, okay, move on. No, that's not the point. Be conscious. Put your emotion. What is bhakti? Let us define bhakti as we answer. How will you be conscious today? You will be conscious. What is really bhakti? Bhakti is nothing but karma, done with deep emotions. It's like chanting, right? Let's give an example of chanting. What is chanting? You have japamala, you have your bead bag, you have your seat, you have asan, you have your body. You have things that you use to chant. And how do you chant? You use your hand, you use your fingers, you use your mouth, you vibrate your tongue. That is karma yoga, isn't it? You do that. But you don't stop just at that. You add a little bit of gyan to that. How do you add gyan to it? Saying, oh, but this is no ordinary. Oh, what is the example Prabhupada gives, right? Nobody chants Coca-Cola, 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 Coca-Cola. Nobody chants that. You add gyan to it. You should know what is Mahamantra. You say, oh Krishna, oh Hara, oh divine energy, oh Radharama. You chant. You add gyan to it. And then you can add Ashtanga if your body copes up. Sit in lotus pose. Use Dhyan Mudra. All those things also work. They are helping additions to your smooth ride on 401 to Krishna. You can have ordinary car, but you can have luxurious car to make your ride smoother. So all these other forms of yogas are like helping aid. But what is most important ingredient? Most important ingredient is the fuel. Otherwise that car, no matter, you can have Cadillac, you can have Ferrari, you can have Porsche, Lamborghini, whatever. Nothing is going to make sense. Like that plain example of Prabhupada. Once you add fuel of love, then that car is going to zoom. 0 to 60 in 3 seconds and whatever they say. So, what is that fuel? Fuel of love. And that love is the deep emotion that, oh Krishna, this is for you. How many lives I have done for myself. How many previous births I have enjoyed different forms of sense gratification just for myself. This one life for you. As a brahmachari, you have living example here, Prabhuji. Somewhere in his heart, Prabhu has that prayer, that this one life for you, Krishna. And if we can't do that, like Prabhupada said, right? Satatam kirtayanto mam. Good example, 24 hours. Can't do, at least do 2 hours. So, if not one life, today's day, Krishna, Janmashtami. This day is for you. Engage me in your devotional service. Let me chant. When you chant, do this. You're doing karma, you're doing gyan, you're doing ashtanga, and most importantly, you're doing bhakti. Like that, when you mix, when you integrate all the forms, then only you are able to be conscious. Otherwise, Hare Krishna, how are you doing, Prabhu? All right, everything is Hare Krishna. Oh, can you move this? Oh, Hare Krishna. That is again, that is very mediocre. That is not consciousness. That is just countingness, if I can form a word. It's just Krishna countingness. And then just by laughing, before even you realize, oh, wow, 16 done. Oh, maybe I did 32 today, who knows? But it didn't have value of even 2. So conscious, be alert. And if you live this one day, I guarantee you, tomorrow morning when we meet, hopefully in Prabhupada appearance, spend this one day with full consciousness. You will do 2 things. You will be so exhausted that you will not have any opening for Maya. I guarantee you. No opening for Maya. And second, you will not realize that you are fasting. Time will go like this. And that is how you remain Krishna conscious. So first, as Prabhuji was explaining, make Krishna your daily affair. Celebrate Janmashtami daily, and best ways at least by 2 hours a day, every day. And why would you be convinced? I'm sorry, we are really overgoing here. But why would you be convinced to chant Hare Krishna? Why are you convinced? Last question. Why are you chanting Hare Krishna? Mukunda. Why do you chant Hare Krishna? So excellent. So excellent. Till the time answer is not because my mama says. Great answer. And it may be the beginning because that is a dharma of parents. But what is more important? That imposition, that superimposition of parents done with love gets converted into one's own swayam faith. One's own faith that this is the right thing to do. And why do we do it? I give this classic example. Why do we chant? What is the difference between Arjun and Karna? Both were amazingly skillful. Like you put them in a room, you couldn't pick who would win over the other one, right? Amazingly skillful. But why did Arjun win over Karna? One can say he was on path of dharma and other was adharma, yeah, sure. Why? How did he become successful? You know what did he do? Every morning he invited Krishna on his chariot. Krishna, please come and ride me. And then Krishna would ride and he would simply follow. When you simply follow the instructions of your Guru, the instructions of your Prabhupada, you are always doing the right thing for the right cause. And then you don't care what the outcome is. Then it is no more your burden that am I going to be Krishna conscious all the time on Janmashtami or not. No more your burden. You have given that responsibility to Krishna. But how do we invite? Are we Arjuna? Oh, I don't have Gandiv. I have my chadar. Where is my Gandiv? I don't have chariot, man. I have nothing. I have a simple Volkswagen. Where is Krishna? I only have to go to drive, right? Krishna is not going to come and drive for me. That is my 80%. I have to drive my family around. So then how do you invite Krishna? When you wake up in the morning, you pray to that Krishna, saying, Krishna, I don't have you in person, but hey, I do have you in the form of your holy name. So many of you have the japamala around your neck. Say, Krishna, in your holy name, Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Saktesh, Tatrar Pita Smarane. In your form of your holy name, you please come in my life and sit on my chariot. You do that 2 hours, 3 hours in the morning. You're living in the temple, you have bigger morning program. The only difference between Grihastha and Brahmacharis is morning 5 hours are the same if you want to do good. The rest of the day is different. You can distribute books, we can generate more funds for you, things like that. Morning 5 hours are the same, no difference. And it's the same in Goloka also. Everybody does same thing. 5 hours are common. If you are able to do that, that is how you invite Krishna practically in your life. Saying, Krishna, in your form of holy name, please come and ride my chariot. And then let me do my job. Then go and do your seva. Whether you have X seva or Y seva or Z seva. Raseshwar is sitting there, he has to cure his patients. Prabhuji has to take care of so many children in the school. You have to take care of so many residents here and preach. You have responsibility to preach the glories of the holy name. Seva forms are different. Like those different tattvas that we spoke about. But what is common? Common is that you have invited Krishna on the chariot. Now wherever Krishna takes you, You are simply going to keep shooting arrows. You don't care where you're shooting. You essentially don't care. You have given that service to Krishna, saying, Krishna, you ride my chariot, boss. I will simply do my dharma. And when you do that, you are 100% Krishna conscious at all the times. So I request that if you are able to, let us try living that kind of a day today. Try best, remain conscious, be alert about your consciousness. Everything else will fall in place. Does that help? Sorry, it was an elongated answer. I hope it helps.
Prabhu, thank you so much. I wish we could keep going all day long. So, thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyaivacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo nama ananta koti vaishnav vrinda ki jai.